Hey everyone, it's Frederick Kramer here, and in today's video I'm going to talk about the biggest thing that's holding agency owners back from closing more deals and sales calls, and especially how to actually fix that and make sure that you close more deals, increase the sales conversion rate, get closer towards that 1 in 2 closing rate, and basically just make sure that you get more, to just make more money off of the same appointments, which is obviously just a huge thing for like your profit margin, everything like that. So without further ado, let's get into that. The first thing, that's probably the most important when you're on the call in itself, is that you stick to your structure. Because obviously when you don't, like it's a rule of nature that when you don't plan something in terms of like business, like something where you have an intention, you have a goal, something that you want to do, when you don't plan a way to get there, if there's no intentional steps that you partake in, then it's going to be worse than if you have it, right? Because you're not just going to close the deal by just having it happen. So obviously you want to stick to your structure. And what I mean by that specifically is when you're asking people questions, you need to have an intentional way that you do that, like a specific order, for example, in which you ask the questions. And obviously there's a huge debate on like scriptless selling versus selling with a script. And in my opinion, you should have some sort of like script thing where you see the questions that you're asking and sort of the things that you want to go over, but you could be completely flexible in the order that you do. And you, like the art of selling in that context is that you are flexible towards what the prospect is saying and that you still get everything done, but to make sure that the thing, like the intentional structure is still being like fulfilled. And basically it's like a checklist, like you have certain things that you need to make sure, which are basically the prospect is in pain because of some problem. The prospect has a problem that you can even solve, like it's even like the right person, obviously, like the right fit, but firstly that they have some sort of pain, and then also to amplify that, like basically making them aware that there is a lot of pain associated with that situation. If you can do that well, then it's going to be a lot easier to, like, they're basically going to give you less objections. It's going to be way easier to get them to close. And obviously after that, have a desire section. Make sure that they don't have a reason to put it off until later. Like basically asking them like, why is now the right time? So that they need to be in pain. They need to understand now is the best time to get started. They need to trust you. They need to, at the end, see the value of what you're doing, but that basically just comes from you being able to solve their problem. And if their problem is very painful, they're going to find it very valuable. So the pain is just going to give you more leverage there. And just checking if I forgot anything. Basically rooting out potential objections, like partner, like time, like is right now actually a good time? Okay, why? You know, that stuff. Potentially, if they say they have a partner, obviously making sure that when you start pitching that both of the partners are aware, like present on the call, right? But once you have all of these things, it's not going to be that complicated to get them to actually do that, right? And obviously it's easier when you have case studies, it's easier when you're more established, all of that. But the main thing on a call that's important is that you just stay focused and stay on your structure. Like the complicated thing in sales, at least for me, being on probably half of the calls that I've had so far in the last couple of months, is just being focused on the prospect and understanding their situation genuinely, but still at the same time being on the structure that you want to have, and not basically, how do you say that in English, like being distracted and like rolling into different areas that you don't want to talk about, or that are way less leverage. And when you're really structured, then you're also going to, like, your calls are going to be way shorter as well. And usually, like when you're like the good calls that I have right now, they're like 40 minutes. The bad calls that I have take, I don't know, 70, 80 minutes, something like that. And you really want to have shorter calls. But the way that you can stick to your structure and do this as good as possible is, firstly, obviously have good sleep, because if you don't have good sleep, it's just going to be way harder to stick to something, and your focus is just going to be way worse. It might sound woo-woo, it might not sound as fancy, but it's literally one of the most important things. And then besides that, obviously that just that you have something open on your screen next to the Zoom meeting or whatever you're taking the calls on Google Meet, that you just have a thing where you see like the checklist, and then you can quickly just go over, like look over and see, okay, what have we checked off right now, what haven't we? And the way that you can build a process as well by yourself, which is the next thing, which is iteration, is you obviously, like the second most important thing apart from staying structured on the calls, is that you learn from each call to the next one. Like sales calls, especially when you're recording them, and you should always be recording them, are not they're quite easy to learn from, because you can see exactly everything in the recording. Because when you're watching the recording, you can see like 10 times more than you can see when you're on the call, because your attention isn't limited, because you can repeat again and again. You can watch through once, look at the prospects in your body language. You can check once again, looking at a certain like part of the structure. Then you can check on like how are you asking the questions. Then you might see, okay, like who's fidgeting around here, who's getting distracted, all of that stuff. Like you can see so many small things. That's the one thing, but just looking at your calls doesn't help you that much if you don't have other people, obviously, that are extremely good at sales, that are already closing 1 or 2, maybe even like higher than that. By the way, like 1 and 2 based on like not super qualified leads. Obviously, when you have super qualified leads, you can close at 90-something%. But just having some person that you're learning from, ideally one person. That's at this point, as of right now, when you're watching this video a few days after it comes out, I wouldn't recommend you honestly too much to watch that from me. In a few years it might be completely different, I have no idea. Or I have an idea, but I don't know if in a few years what I'll be even doing at that point, honestly. But you just want to have one person that you're learning from, then you can always note that down and see like from one call to the next, okay, now I need to stick more to this thing, now I need to stick more to this thing, and then just like review that and see, okay, have I done that? Okay, no. Okay, on the next call I'm going to do that. And you also want to practice the new stuff that you've learned a lot. Basically, just you don't even need to have like another person to roleplay. Like if you want to practice an objection, something like, oh, I don't have the money. Okay, why? Which is a stupid way to say it, right? But you'd say like, okay, I don't have the money. Okay, let's put money aside for a second. Do you think it's going to work? Yes. Okay, what specific thing makes you think it's going to work? You know, like these sort of monologues. It's going to help you a lot. You can just do that by yourself. You can practice certain things. But once you're on the call, you want to not think about any of these things. Like you don't want to consciously like apply anything. You only want to focus on the prospect and what they're saying, on the notes that you're taking for yourself, so that you can bring that up in the pitch and the objection handling later, and on the structure that you have, right? Like these are the most important things that you need to focus on there. And step 3, which is honestly the most important thing, which is honestly something that I'm still working on for myself right now, is literally your mindset. Maybe it sounds woo, maybe it's not, it doesn't sound as shiny, but as someone that has been in business for more than 2 years, for like 3 years, and is not at the standard like multi 6-figure whatever level as of me making this video, there's something wrong. Like if you're continuously taking action and it doesn't work, and for some reason the actions that you're taking are always a bit fucked up and not as great as you want them to be, and you're working all the time, you're trying it as much as possible, but it still doesn't work that much. The problem is actually your mindset and not the other things. And mindset is way, way more important than other things. And sure, there are some people that are becoming successful without having like done any mindset work, but it's very rare. And as long as it's helpful, and it is helpful like tenfold, like it can literally shortcut the time frame by 10 if you just have the right beliefs, it's going to make a massive difference, right? And the way that you work on your mindset basically is you think about everything that you believe to be true about sales for like 2 hours straight, or like 1 hour. Basically until the point where you can't think of anything else that you believe about sales. Like maybe you believe it's hard to find high quality prospects, or it's only possible to close prospects if they say at the beginning of the call that they have money. Maybe you believe at the beginning of the call when the prospects say they're not going to buy today, that it's going to be true. Maybe you believe that you don't that you need to respect the prospect's reasons, and a lot of the times basically just rationalizations because they find it too painful to proceed with anything, and it's actually something that you want to have them overcome as well. Like there's so many wrong things that you can believe about sales, and if you don't believe them, like if you don't believe the stuff that you need to believe, and you genuinely believe that something doesn't work, you cannot possibly make it work, because it's impossible to do something when you don't believe that it's true. Like if you you wouldn't jump off a building unless you want to kill yourself, but if you wanted to, you're not going to jump off a building trying to fly if you don't believe that gravity exists. And you will believe that gravity exists because you just see, you've experienced it for however years you're old when you're watching this video. You just won't do it. And the same thing happens unconsciously with other things. Obviously, when you jump out of a building, there's just one thing, okay, gravity, but there are a lot of other things, obviously the height, but like a lot of other things. Like in sales, it's not just this one thing. Like there's so many different things that are holding you back, and you don't know about that, and that's like really, really important. So just to sum everything up, if you can work on these beliefs, and once you know them, by the way, what you're going to do is you're going to firstly, like sometimes they're in objective truth, like sometimes it's objectively true, sometimes it's not. Like sometimes it could be true as well that it works. Like if you believe that something doesn't work, you're right, but if something is theoretically possible, then if you believe that it works, you're also right after some time, right? There's some things like you can't just believe that gravity doesn't exist, it will still exist, but there are a lot of things, especially when it comes to skills, where people believe that it's impossible, but you just need to change it and invert that. And if you know for a fact that it's possible to do something in objective reality, then you just need to like shift the belief towards, okay, it is possible, repeat that belief to yourself over and over and over again, and then you basically know, okay, now it's possible, now I can actually do that. It's going to maybe take some time, but it's key. Like look at people like Sam Altman, Charlie Morgan, Alex Hormozi, probably even, they all talk about that belief stuff, and you just need to do it. Like if you want to save time, you just need to do it. But yeah, so that's it for the 3 things. So again, work on your beliefs was step 3. Iterating was step number 2, and staying to the structure on the core was step number 1. So these are really the main things that you need to focus on. So just make sure that you do it in the future. Hope this could help you. And yeah, look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.